Hey guys, 22 Plinkster here. I guess about a year ago or so, uploaded a video on top rimfire scopes for under $200. This Primary Arms Acss scope made that list. It's a great scope. I gave it a good thumbs up in the video, but I have yet to do a review with it. Now, since then, Primary Arms have sent me a couple more of the Acss with a 22 long rifle reticle in it. Now they do make this particular scope in like a 308 and also a 223 version, but they changed the 22 long rifle version to be put on the 308 and the 223 frame. So what that does is actually beef up the scope. This scope can take a beating. It's very reliable, very rugged. But they took out the 308 and the 5.56 223 reticle and put in a 22 long rifle reticle to help you judge windage and also your elevation. Not only that, it helps you range your targets out up to 200 yards. Before we get started shooting, let me go over some very, very important things that you need to know about this setup. Now, first thing you see is this apparatus on top of it. If you've seen some of my videos in the past, I don't know, probably 6 months or so, you've seen this apparatus on some of my setups. I actually used it on Plinkster Outdoors, and if you don't subscribe to Plinkster Outdoors, go over and subscribe to it. But I used it on Plinkster Outdoors for a few hunts. And, you know, I've got it strapped onto this Acss Primary Arms scope where you guys can see what I see. Because if I start doing a scope review and telling you what I think it looks like or trying to describe to you what it looks like, you guys won't get the full picture. But I need to stress a few things. First and foremost, you need to make sure that this optic is level, okay, when you mount it to your firearm with your mounts and rings and everything else. You have to make sure it's level. The reason because you do this, it doesn't have crosshairs. You know, usually it's pretty easy to throw a optic or a scope on a rifle and kind of line up the crosshairs by eye, and you can get kind of close. With the reticle system in this guy, you can be off a mile and don't even know it. I threw it on here without leveling it, and I had a hard time sighting it in. You know, 50 yards I was dead on, and I was trying to sight it, you know, at 100 yards. And in doing so, I was all over the place. I couldn't see exactly where I was hitting, and I found out the scope was not level. So the first thing you need to do if you purchase one of these optics is make sure it is level. Now the clicks for the windage and elevation are not 1/4 inch, you know, or 0.25 MOA. They are 0.5 MOA. So they're each click at 100 yards will give you 1/2 inch, 2 clicks an inch, so on and so forth. And when I put the first model on here, when I got it probably about a year and a half ago, it took a little bit of practice to do that because I'm used to 1/4 MOA. So I was going way past my target every time I sighted it in. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that this rifle is zeroed in at 50 yards. Now I'm going to be using my Vakortsen souped up 1022 setup right here. You know, this is extremely accurate rifle. I do have my Silencer Co. Sparrow can on the end of it. And I am shooting some Federal Hunter Match. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's only good to shoot lead ammo through a Vakortsen barrel. And this is the closest thing that I had to match the velocity of a mini mag. You see, this reticle design is actually designed for a 40 grain mini mag out of about a 16 and a 16.5 inch barrel. So the velocity on this is about 1,200 feet per second out of a 16 to 16.5 inch barrel. Saying that with the suppressor on there, I'm going to be pushing probably about, I guess about 1220, 1230. So I'm close to that. Okay, I'm not perfect, but I'm close. So I may have to, you know, make sure that this is sighted in about an inch high. And let me turn on my camera. And we should be good to go. So, all right, here we go. Let's make sure it's set at 50 yards. Now you want to use this center dot to make sure, now this is your zero at 50 yards, the center dot. Okay, I'm right at about a 1/2 inch, yeah, about a 1/2 inch to an inch high. It's exactly where I want to be. Target, sit still. Okay, I don't think I need to shoot any more. I pre-sighted this rifle in at 50 yards, and I made sure my zero at 100 yards. So once you sight it in at 50 yards, you're still gonna have to fine tune it a little bit at 100 yards, but once you have that 100 yards sighted in on this scope, you're good to go out to 200 yards. Now let's try to engage some targets down there at 100 yards. But before we do this, I need to go over a few more things. This is a 1x6 powered optic, so you can put it down at 1 power or you can crank it up to 6 power. It is a second focal plane scope, meaning when you increase the power, the reticle does not change. It does not get bigger. So that being said, if you know anything about optics, this reticle, since it's not getting any bigger, you must put it on 6 power magnification to be able to use the bullet drop compensator and also the windage and also the range finding capabilities in this scope. That being said, I've got some targets down there at 100 yards. Now I failed to mention also that this scope has a lighted reticle, so if it's dim, you can see pretty good with it. And also, it makes for a better video because you'll be able to see the targets, well, the reticle system downrange a little bit better. So now that we're looking through the scope, you see that center dot. That's the dot that I used to sight in dead on at 50 yards. Well, just a little bit high because of the slower velocity of this ammo. But since that center dot is 50 yards, the tip of that vertical line is 100 yards. It has a 1 right beside it. Now, the next line below it is 125, and the next one's 150, then 175, then out to 200. Those dots on the left and right is for a 5 degree wind left or right. So if you have a left or right wind, you will want to put that first dot on there. So those are value for a 5 mile an hour value wind. Now, let's see if I can engage this target at 100 yards. I've got the tip of that on there and pop. This is so much easier than using Kentucky windage. All right, now I don't know if you can see through here or not, but that target down there flipped up sideways and it's a very, very small target. Let me see if I can hit it and flip it back. Boom. Now again, those are 3-inch targets at 100 yards. All right, it made short work of those guys. Now, let me back up at 150 yards and let's see if this reticle system really works. I know the lighting's pretty bad here underneath the porch, but this is the only place on my property in the summertime that I can actually back up at 150 yards. In the wintertime, I can get back to about 200 to 250. But I have some targets down there at 150 yards. Now, to take full advantage of this again, you have to make sure that the reticle is straight up and down. So if you want to put a little scope leveler on here when you shoot to make sure that reticle is perfectly in line, you can. But let me show you, make sure this is on. All right, this is on. Let me show you a few of the range finding. Now this setup is pretty sketchy. I'm rocking back and forth pretty bad, but hopefully you'll get the gist. I have to put it up here like this where I can shoot over my rail on my back porch. All right, so there is a yellow bottle down there, okay? And I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'll take a picture of it right about now and give you a good close-up of it, what it looks like. But there are different lines on the right-hand side. That is your range finding capabilities. And what that is basically ranging a bottle, a regular sized bottle, out at 200 yards. So you can use the 100 yard all the way out to 200 yards. And let me see here, the second one down from the bottom, that is 150 yards. So if you line those up, boom, it's 150 yards. I know the range is 150 yards. Well, I've ranged it several times, but I just basically showing you guys what the reticle looks like and how to use the ranging system. You can also range that circle. The larger circle is a clay pigeon, exactly 50 yards, and the bottom horseshoe of that is the width of a clay target out at 100 yards. But saying all of that, I have got a steel plate down there. I'm using my 1.5, which is a 150-yard hold. Let's see if we can make contact with it. Nailed it. Hit it again. It's almost boring with this optic because it does all the work for you. There's no guessing. Another hit. Another hit. I made that bottle dance from that splatter. All right, let's see how good it is. That bottle is only about 2.5 inches wide. I don't know if I can hit it or not, but let's try. Make sure my crosshairs are vertical, which they are now on that bottle. Nailed it. Thing's just dancing down there now. All right, let's finish off on that plate. All right, went 100% at 150 yards. So that goes to show you, if you do your part, the reticle system on the Acss is spot on. Now, let's head to the woods, and I've got it on an AR-22, and let me show you the benefits of having this optic on that AR. All right, let's finish out this video. We'll be running it on my CMMG 22 AR here. I've had this rifle for a while. I just haven't ever done a video with it. But the good thing about this optic is that you can actually change the magnification on it. And I think I misspoke earlier in the video when I said this is the exact same scope that they beefed up. It's a little bit different. This is actually on the PA 308 frame, or the body of it. So it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the original. I think the original one that I had in the video retails for about $120. This one retails for about $289. But however, the features that you get it and the durability, in my opinion, for $289, you really can't go wrong. But we're going to shoot some targets up close and far away. I've got this optic set on 1 power, so you can engage targets close up or you can go a little bit farther away. So let's start close here. All right, let's go across the creek. Now I'm trying to move this rifle slow because I'm only filming in 60 frames per second. There we go. Stay on the target, Dave. Well, good grief. There we go. I need a little bit more magnification. Oh, last shot. It's hard for me to leave on a miss, but if you've ever loaded one of these magazines, they are a bear to load. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think Primary Arms did it right, and you can throw this optic on anything pretty much. You know, if you want to put it on a 308, you're good with it. It's going to handle that recoil. You know, I'm going to experiment with it and actually going to put it on my turkey gun, my 3.5-inch Magnum. And if it can take the recoil from that without messing up, I've got me a new turkey optic, because that's the problem. You know, a lot of times, you know, optics, they just can't take the punishment of recoil. But they have told me that this thing will actually take a licking and keep on ticking. Guys, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. Go over my Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram page. Or if you're interested in this optic, I will put everything in the description of this video. Until next time, y'all be safe and keep linking.